Hi, my name is Sasha. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have a library haul and it's a lot of books. I have a book hoarding problem and I'm not ashamed to admit it because books are, if you're going to hoard anything, books are probably the best thing you could hoard. So my library is open for 30-minute browsing at a time, and I always wear a mask when I go in, so I'm being safe. So I'm just gonna get into the books because I'm excited. I love hauling library books and just like luxuriating in having them in my possession. So the first one that I have here is How to Astronaut: An Insider's Guide to Leaving Planet Earth by Terry Virts. He is, he was like the commander of the International Space Station for like 200 days. And I don't know how many days he's been in space, but he is a NASA astronaut. And this is basically what it says on the tin. It's about, oh, that glare. It's about like what you go through when you go into space. Like from the first getting tested to if you can even handle it, to blasting off, to all the nitty-gritty of living in space on the International Space Station. And I just love space books. Anything to do with space. I would never want to go to space. I'm terrified of leaving the Earth. I'm also terrified of the ocean. Just being on dry land with the gravitational pull, and just I don't want to leave the Earth or go onto the ocean, but I love reading about it, so this should be a good read. Then I have The Life and Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly by Jamie Packton. I heard about this book a while ago. I know it's about Kit Sweetly. She works at like one of those medieval times restaurants where everyone dresses up as a knight, and she wants to be, I think, a knight, but she's stuck being like a princess or something, and she takes her brother's place and gets into like a joust, and she reveals her identity at the end of the show. She rockets into internet fame and a whole lot of trouble with the management. But this girl knight won't go down without a fight. As other wenches and cast members join her quest, a protest forms. In a joust before castle executives, they'll prove that gender restrictions should stay medieval if they don't get fired first. Sounds very cute, sounds very feminist. And I believe this is a middle grade, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think that middle schoolers can work at restaurants. Anyway, it just sounds really cute, and I'm really excited to read it. Next, I have a middle grade, one I've been wanting to read for a long time, and it is the Magical Girl Society pick for November. They are this book club run by Monica from Monica Kim and Brianna from Milky Boos. I believe that's her channel name. But it is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is about Morgan Crow, and she is a cursed child. So everything bad that happens, they blame it on her, which is terrible because like she makes eye contact with someone and they I don't know, lose their shoe. They're like, well, it was Morgan Crow's fault. And she's supposed to die on the day of Eventide, which is like the end of an age. I'm not entirely sure about how that works. I'm only like 60 pages into the book. But there's this thing called bid day, which is when kids leave preparatory school, they can get bid on to be like an apprentice by people of the what is it? State? Yeah. And Morgan gets bid on by the Wondrous Society, and so that's as far as I've gotten. But Jupiter North is amazing so far. I love him and his gingerness and his the way he talks is so grand. And this book is just really cute so far, and I'm loving it. And I'm like, I just started it today, and I'm already 60 pages in. So next is How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents by Julia Alvarez. I think I said in a couple previous videos that I read Afterlife by Julia Alvarez this year and really enjoyed it. This is Julia Alvarez's first book. I believe it's her debut novel. And this is about the Garcia girls and their family, who I believe live in Cuba. It doesn't really say in the description, but they live in this place with a dictator, and they live along with the dictator, like near him. They're involved in the government, but their father gets involved in a coup against the government, and they have to flee the country, and they come to America, and they all deal with this in different ways. The Garcia girls try to Americanize themselves, and they're growing girls, so they get involved in boys and drugs, I believe, and their father is just kind of feels disconnected, and he's the patriarch. He feels like he's losing his grip. It just sounds amazing. I love Julia Alvarez's writing style, so I think I'm really going to enjoy this. Next, I got Alazzo by Darcy Littlebadger. And I'm going to read the description inside this because I heard about this from Kara from Wild Book Garden, but I did not hear what it was about. I just know that she's reading it and that she likes it, so I'll read the inside. Imagine an America very similar to our own. It's got homework, best friends, and pistachio ice cream. There are some differences. This America has been shaped dramatically by the magic, monsters, knowledge, and legends of its people, those indigenous and those not. Some of these forces are charmingly everyday, like the ability to make an orb of light appear or travel across the world through rings of fungi. But other forces are less charming and should never see the light of day. Alazzo lives in this slightly stranger America. She can raise the ghosts of dead animals, a skill passed down through generations of her Lipan Apache family. Her beloved cousin has just been murdered in a town that wants no prying eyes, but she is going to do more than pry. The picture-perfect facade of Willoughby masks gruesome secrets, and she will rely on her wits, skills, and friends to tear off the mask and protect her family. Darcy Littlebadger is an extraordinary debut talent in the world of speculative fiction. We have paired her with her artistic match, illustrator Rovina Kai. This is a book singular in feeling and beauty. So I believe this is going to be fantastic. I've heard it's fantastic. It is, I believe, Indigathon right now. So people reading indigenous books, and sorry I couldn't get in on that, but I will read this and try to celebrate the spirit of, I believe it's Indigenous Peoples Month, but I don't know. I should probably look up on that. Anyway, that's Alazzo. Next, I got Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I've heard great things about Frederick Bachman, and just that he makes people cry. This is about a town. What is this town called? Beartown, duh. It's about Beartown, and it's just this little town that people think is going nowhere, and but this town has a hockey team that's going to compete in like the national finals, but I believe there's like the captain of the team is what's his name? I think it's Scott. Kevin is like the captain of the team, and people have put all their hopes on him. But something happens, and a girl gets, I believe, sexually assaulted, and it sort of sends this town into tumultuous, into tumult. What's that word? Tumult? I don't know. But it sends this town into an uproar, and I believe it's going to be impactful. I've heard amazing things about it, and so I am really excited to read it. I'm excited to read all of these. I don't know why I keep saying that. Next is one that I just found browsing the adult section. I was just walking through the adult section today, and I found this one, and it sounds really good. Things That Fall from the Sky by Selja Ahava. She's, I believe, a Finlandian author. Finnish. Why did I say Finlandian? Oh my god. Anyway, this is kind of like disconnected stories that all kind of weave together. A girl loses her mother when a block of ice falls from the sky. A woman wins the jackpot twice, and a man is struck by lightning 4 times. It's kind of like the unreality of reality and how strange things happen, and we just have to deal with them. And it sounds really good. I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but I just randomly happened upon it, and I was like, I mean, the title grabbed me. I know people judge books by their covers, and this is a great cover, but I usually judge books by their title and whether it sounds good, like, in my mind, and this just did, so I picked it up. Hopefully it's good. Next is one that I haven't heard anybody else talk about either, and that is Vagabonds by Hao Jingfang, translated by Ken Liu. And this is a really bizarre sounding space novel, which I love the idea of. So I'll read you the description. 2096, colonized Mars breaks away from Earth, beginning another Cold War, one based on the Iron Curtain of space. 2196, a delegation of young Martians, including the consul of Mars's granddaughter, Luo Ying, is sent to live on Earth for 5 years in an attempt at reconciliation. 2022-01. Luo Ying and the other delegates return to find themselves no longer belonging to either Mars or Earth. As the prospect of war with Earth grows, Luo Ying struggles to understand her grandfather's long-range designs for a wet Mars and her role in the future unfurling before her. So, I believe Xijin Liu is the other Chinese author that's been writing science fiction that people are raving about. But I'm interested to see how Hao Jingfang writes science fiction. I think that Chinese authors are like an untapped wealth of good writing. Like, we don't really get a lot of Chinese nationalist authors. So I'm excited to read this. I'm excited to read some translated fiction. I don't read a lot of translated fiction, so we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of excited, but I'm also cautious because I've read some science fiction by other some other translated science fiction. I didn't like it very much, but yeah, we'll attempt it. So the next one is another nonfiction. This is Honey and Venom, Confessions of an Urban Beekeeper by Andrew Cote. This is kind of like a bunch of stories about Andrew Cote, who's like a 4th generation beekeeper, and he tells stories about going around, like I think he lives in New York City. Yeah, New York City, and he has apiaries like all over New York City on top of buildings, and he kind of tells like stories about going to those apiaries and the everyday life of being a beekeeper, and also just talks about bees. I freaking love bees. Like, they're one of my favorite, not just insects, but like animals. Do they count as an animal? I think they do. I'm not sure. But I just love bees, and I want to read more books about bees. So this is high on my TBR, and I hope to get to it soon. And I just love this cover. It's so bright, and I love the color yellow. Next one is one that I have been reading, but I was reading it on audio, And I tweeted that I didn't understand what was going on, and everyone was like, that's supposed to happen. But audiobooks just don't gel with my brain very well. Sometimes it depends on the book, but usually books like that are too speculative don't really like stick in my brain. So I picked up the physical version of The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is about Blue, who isn't psychic but sees the ghost of a boy on St. Mark's Eve, and apparently that means she either killed him or he's her first love. And so there's also these 4 boys going to this prestigious school, Aglenby, and they're looking for a Welsh king called Glendower. And I'm not sure why. I still haven't, like, I've gotten, like, almost 25% of the way through this book, and I don't know why anything is happening. And I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I like it a lot, but I don't know why things are the way they are. And I'm hoping if I reread over that, like reread the 25% that I've already gotten through and do it physically, that it'll stick in my brain better. I don't know. But yeah, I do like it. I really do. Next is a graphic novel called This One Summer by Gillian Tamaki and Mariko Tamaki. And Mariko Tamaki was one of the creators of Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, which is one of my favorites of the year so far. And I believe this is with her sister. And this is like two sisters. Their parents won't stop fighting, but they go to this place, this beach every summer, and this one summer is different. This one summer. And I really want this to be as good as Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, but I don't know if it will be. And I shouldn't hold it to such high standards. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I've heard good things, so. Next is Happy and You Know It by Lauren Hankin. So this is about a woman named Claire, and she was in a band, but her band broke up or wasn't successful, and so she becomes this like musical director for babies or like toddlers in this like prestigious New York Park Avenue for a bunch of these like moms, and the moms are all, you know, unique, and it's supposed to be funny and filled with shocking twists according to the description, the premise. And I just really like this cover. It's got like fun, bright stuff all over it, and I just think that the idea of like stay-at-home moms and like moms in those like mommy and me circles have always fascinated me, because like how many different personalities get together, and you have to focus on your kids, but you're also trying to make friends with the other moms, and they're rich, and I'm also fascinated by the lives of like rich and famous people, because how do you just have that much money and just keep on living? That doesn't make any sense. But I'm gonna stop rambling. This just sounds really good, and I'm really excited to get to it. Next, I have a book that I am like halfway through. It's not quite, but I've already talked about it in like my second to last video, and that was Legendborn by Tracy Dion. And I just love this cover. Brie is beautiful. She's gorgeous. So this is about Brie Matthews, whose mom dies in a car accident. And that's not a spoiler. It happens literally in the prologue. And the day that her mom dies, or the day before, she had applied for early college at UNC Chapel Hill. Is that right? I don't know. And she got in, her mom was very upset, and they had a fight, and she wouldn't talk to her mom, but her mom dies. That's always terrible. And so she goes to early college at UNC, and she meets these group of kids and gets sucked into a secret society. I just freaking love secret societies. Like, that's one of my favorite tropes. I should do a video on secret societies. Not like real secret societies, but secret societies in books. Just because it's like one of my favorite tropes. The only other book that I can really think of that did secret societies is Ninth House, which I haven't read all the way through yet. But this is like a King Arthur retelling with a black main character. We love to see it. And it's so good so far. I need to finish reading like 5 different books this month, and I have like 6 days left. But this is definitely one of the books that I want to get to. So next is one that I know like little to nothing about, and that is Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. And this, I'll just read the description. What if you were sworn to protect the one you were born to destroy? Tarisai has always longed for the warmth of a family. She was raised in isolation by a mysterious, often absent mother known only as the Lady. When Tarisai comes of age, the Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire of Aritsar to compete with other children to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. If she's picked, she'll be joined with the other council members through the Ray, a bond deeper than blood. That closeness is irresistible to Tarisai. But the Lady has other ideas, including a magical wish that Tarisai is compelled to obey. Kill the Crown Prince once she gains his trust. Tarisai won't stand by and become someone's pawn, but is she strong enough to choose a different path for herself? With extraordinary world building and breathtaking prose written by an incredible new talent, Raybearer is the story of loyalty, fate, and the lengths we're willing to go for the ones we love. I believe this is African-inspired fantasy. We're getting more and more of that, and I'm just so excited. Non-Western European fantasy, like, I'm just so glad we're moving away from that. And this is the Chaos Rising Book Club's pick for December, and I haven't been able to participate in a live show, I think. So I'm hoping to participate in December's live show, and this just sounds like a fun time. We love like secrets, and we love murder, and just, you know, heroines that want to do what they want but are bound by family blood. I don't know. It just sounds good. So I think I have 3 books left. This is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, commonly called Mistborn because it's the first book in the Mistborn series. This is about, here, I'll tell you what I think it's about. So, from what I've heard, there's people, and they consume metals, and they can do powers with it. And they're living in a dying world, and ash falls from the sky, and there's this girl named Vin, and she wants to defeat an evil that's ruled for like 1,000 years. And that's all I know. I don't know anything about the Cosmere. I'm just excited to join in because everyone is like so hyped about it, and just like I want to join in the hype and like the fun. So I don't want to feel left out anymore. So here we go. Mistborn. Then is one I'm halfway through. That is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. She wrote The Mothers, and I heard great things about that. Never picked it up, but I plan to after reading this because the writing is amazing. This is about 2 twin sisters who live in this town called Mallard, and they run away one night. And everyone in this town is black, but they are light-skinned. And one sister, Desiree, marries a dark man and has a very dark child, and it deals with like colorism and white passing and very complicated topics that I have no business trying to explain, because it's just, I know I should stay in my lane, but it is a very important book. It's a very important topic, and I feel like I need to read it, and I feel like a lot of just it's really good so far, and I'm really excited to finish it. And then the last book, that was like so many books. I don't know how many books it was, but here we go. This is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. So this, I don't know what it's about. It's about a podcast and a girl who listens to a podcast, and she wants to meet the podcast person who runs the podcast, and they are talking or something. I don't know. We all know that Kat from Paperback Dreams created the hype around Radio Silence, and I just want to get to it to see what it's all about. And yeah, that's all my books. That's so many books. They're leaning on my legs and it hurts because the ends are digging in, and I should probably get up soon because my leg is asleep. I don't know why I film sitting down. I have a tripod that, I'm 6 foot, and it's probably not tall enough to film me standing up, but plus my bookshelf is really short, so I have to like get down here to film in front of it. That's not the topic of this video. Tell me what you have checked out from the library. I'm really curious. I love when Ashley from Bookish Realm does currently checked out series. I love that kind of thing. I love library hauls. I love talking about libraries. I think we should all support our libraries, especially in this time. We need to support our libraries. They're very important. They help people who can't afford to buy books give access to books, but also to music and educational resources. So if you have the means, please donate to your library. They take donations because they're underfunded, and we just need libraries. Like, we all need libraries. So yeah, tell me what you have checked out from the library if you have anything checked out, even if it's digital, because that counts. Digital books count. And leave me a book emoji or something if you can't think of anything to comment. I just would love to see that you were here. And I think that's it. So that's all from me for now. I will see you in the next one. Bye!